Devitt with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. In the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space, now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Little Ministry of Darkness. This is a big Survivor Series. 30 years of The Undertaker. Rumor is this is going to be it for him. It's a big send-off, which I think is bullshit. I don't think he's going to ever officially go away. I think we'll always get bits and pieces of him here and there. But, so I figured why not? We'll do a little Undertaker. But this is the War Report podcast brought to you by TagMeADate.com, first and only dating site for wrestling fans. We'll be back. Hopefully 2021. The world will become the new normal, whatever the fuck that is. And welcome to the show. We have a lot to cover. As you can see, right now it's just Eric and I. The intern, Ryan, should be joining us shortly. The chairman of the board might be joining us. Vince may be able to pop in. He had some other arrangements that he had to attend to. And Kat may join us. So we may have people popping in. Eric, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are you? I love the new background for you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. New house, new background. So, man, it's exciting.
For the show.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. But, man, we got some stuff going on. There's a few things I want to ask and kind of go over with you before we really get into Raw, SmackDown, all that shit.
Right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Tony fucking Schimmel.
I don't like that, man.
It's sad. It sucks because he's awesome.
30 years for that guy.
I just hope. Well, listen, loyalty doesn't seem to mean shit. I mean, they're letting go, a lot of these guys, but I don't know, man. If they do Edge Orton at WrestleMania for the title, Schimmel better come back to do Edge's entrance. That's the only way they can kind of somewhat salvage it, in my opinion. But so we'll have to see. But that sucks. That one I was kind of blown away. That one to me kind of hit me like Kyoto.
Yeah.
Even though Kyoto had even more tenure, I think, than Schimmel. But fucking Schimmel, I don't know. I thought that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on this week? I almost want to start with Raw, and the first thing I really noticed, we got a little bit of an Alexa Bliss, but no Bray or the Fiend this week, so that was kind of disappointing.
Oh yeah.
Alexa, of course, is always great. I love seeing Alexa Bliss anytime. Her interaction with Nikki was great. That she chooses, the Fiend and shit. It's still the best fucking storyline they got going. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, brother?
I agree. I'll jump in right there. It is the best storyline they have going.
The fucking thing writes itself.
I like it.
I mean,
it could be satisfied until it's a great big bushy beard.
I think a lot of it writes itself. I was just really disappointed that we didn't get Bray or the Fiend. No Firefly Funhouse. Although I guess, you can't really do it every week because you got to keep them wanting a little more.
Yeah, the slow build is nice. The it's playing hurt, right? Under Nikki's gloves.
Yes.
Because when she does this, the text is...
That's true.
Sorry, Eric made me remind me of the text on the gloves.
Yeah. And they could be, doing something where they're gonna enlist Nikki Cross? It's possible. We talked about this.
Nikki would be a good addition.
Considering
love
her
Firefight.
insanity kind of thing, kind of fits. But I think Bray and Alexa by themselves are just perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, everything she does is gold right now. She's the perfect person to play the Harley Quinn type character. I say week after week. And it just gets better and better every week, because now it's like she's kooky all the time.
Yeah.
Like she's officially this character now going forward. So, that's a win because she really can't do any wrong. I want to see her get back in the ring, though.
Yeah.
Because I think she's going to be able to turn on that psycho-ness quite a bit and really well in the ring. And that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I wonder if they progress the character even further, give her more of a Fiend-like. They have the contacts, but do they do anything else?
Well, and that's where I was kind of thinking, like, you got Bray Wyatt and then you got The Fiend, right?
Yep.
Two complete different entrances, different music, different looks. Alexa, when she's with The Fiend, has the contacts and whatever else they're going to do. And then when she's not with The Fiend, she's kooky again. And, the whole thing works.
The more playful with The Fiend, she's more psychotic.
Yeah. Perhaps some kind of mask for her.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. It'd have to be good, though, unfortunately.
Right.
So,
Because you're putting something over Alexa Bliss, you gotta at least.
That's true, yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm watching Raw. And, I thought Raw was decent. And we'll kind of dive into it a little bit.
Same here.
But I'm officially at my wit's end. I am officially done with the 24/7 fucking title.
Oh,
I mean, I was never really a big
Yeah.
fan of the whole thing. The only thing I like is that R-Truth is just comedic gold. So in that respect, I'm good with it. But
Yeah.
this shit on Raw, how many times did the title change hands in like a matter of 3 minutes?
I
To
wanna
then
say
have
it was
R-Truth win
6.
it back in the end. The whole thing to me is just absolutely ridiculous. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at with the 24/7 title?
Same.
It's horrible.
I like the idea because I love the premise of bringing back a hardcore title, but we haven't gotten that yet.
Well, listen, they're starting to get a little edgier again. Maybe that's something that comes back.
Yeah.
It's definitely
not-
possible.
It's hard to get back to the years of like Crash Holly and the like, but R-Truth is really the only thing that holds it together.
Yeah, that's the issue. There's only one player in the title game, and it always goes back to him.
And now, like, Igbar's out, so Eric, now we're going to throw him. Like, you're better off just leaving Eric off TV completely.
Yeah,
Have him come back when Warbeard's ready. Not to throw him in this 24/7 bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's just ridiculous.
or have him just keep it the entire time while he's gone. Have people the whole premise is people trying to sneak up on him, and he just turns them away.
And he just kills everybody.
Yeah, I mean that'd be fun to see. Right? Unfortunately, we still have shutdowns, so can't be as exciting.
Yeah. We'll have to see, but this title's got to go.
I guess
I'm
you're
totally
not
over
going to get McDonald's playgrounds.
Huh?
I guess you're not going to get McDonald's playgrounds like we used to get.
Oh, going down the slide, being chased.
Those days are
That-
over, brother. So
That camera going down this slide was awesome.
R-Truth by himself though, like disregarding the whole 24/7 title, like you said, he's kind of gold. He's like, when he pinned somebody a few weeks ago, he's like, you should have had a V8. I'm like, I could not stop laughing.
He's hilarious. He's always been hilarious.
I mean, as much as we hate the title, R-Truth getting time is great.
yeah. I mean, listen, at least it gives him something to do, but you could figure do the little Jimmy deal again. That was gold. I mean, there's so many things you can do with him. But Retribution finally gets a victory on Raw.
That's something.
I think that's their first win
Yep.
since, coming together as a unit. So, and no matter what anyone wants to say, Ricochet is amazing. That match was phenomenal. The match was great. The finish was great. That summer, that whatever the fuck you want to call Ricochet jumping off the top to the middle and then spinning like a corkscrew all the way out and taking all the Retribution out. At that very moment, I knew he was losing. But what a great match. And the finish was great. To miss that move, go right into the submission. I don't know. To me, that was probably, I would say, match of the night on Raw, which, says a lot considering, and that's not to take away anything from Ricochet or Ali, but that was a great match.
Definitely. Good showing for Retribution, at least.
Well, yeah. I mean,
to actually get something positive moving in their
that's
direction.
what I'm saying. They finally won a match that's huge.
Speaking of Retribution, they had one of their and I have to say, despite the majority of it being fucking stupid, I think Ali's promos are pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Ali's great on the mic.
Did they seem to hint to something with Asuka?
They've been teasing going after Asuka.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they need something for Mia. I'm calling her Mia Yim because I don't give a shit what her name is now in Retribution, but they got to have something for Mia Yim. Mia Yim is not just a manager or a lackey. Mia Yim is great. She can work. So they have to start going after a woman because she's got to have something to do.
Wholeheartedly agree. But who
it's
would
not like she can
Asuka
fake
team
sick
with?
Who would Asuka team with?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was just trying to figure that out.
It's a good question, but
I think the Hurt Business has kind of moved on from Retribution now.
Yeah, they're getting tag team title shots next week.
Yeah.
Well, if you notice, you have that match taking place for the tag team titles, right?
Correct.
And now you have Orton McIntyre for the title next week.
Also correct.
Now, I get it in the sense that that title, I guess, is probably not going to be on the line at Survivor Series. That's the feeling I'm getting if you're going to have that match.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get the title matches out because the pay-per-view is not going to have a lot of title matches.
Agreed.
And then the Fiend shows up during it, and then it makes it a triple threat for the title at Survivor Series.
What if instead you get a singles match with Bray and Drew for the pay-per-view? And you get maybe make it a number one contenders?
Is it Bray or the Fiend?
I'd go Fiend for coming out.
But then McIntyre's got to lose again.
True.
Ooh, Steve, you bring up a good point because Bray can lose as Bray as long as he never lose as the Fiend. And then they could still continue things.
Well, right. You have him come out as Bray. He does his thing. He loses. And then after the match, the Fiend comes out.
Yeah, like they did with Braun, the Braun feud.
It's really funny to say, but the reality is he can lose his Bray, but he can't lose his Fiend. You know what I mean?
No,
the Fiend can't afford a loss, but Bray.
It's like Finn Balor and the Demon.
Correct. When he's the Demon, he really. I mean, there's no reason he should ever lose.
On a side note, I like how they're kind of building towards a Sheamus Drew kind of thing.
I agree. That's a good two
Yeah.
good workers.
I mean, I can see that match and they beat the shit out of each other. It'd be a good brawl.
Yeah, it would be. So I want to talk about how Survivor Series is starting to shade up now. You had the second chance. First of all, you want to talk about comedic gold. AJ Styles is awesome.
Yeah. His timing
promos,
is great.
his promos, his timing, everything is great. And he did it again this week on Raw. He was just his mic work was just fucking crazy, and he just does it so well. So now you had, he wants to be the captain of the team. Nobody else does, right? They're all having their thing. They all come out. So they had the second chance triple threat match for the fifth member, and it winds up being Riddle. Now, it was Riddle versus Hardy versus Elias. You knew right away Riddle was going to win because Elias and Jeff are going to have their thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm glad to see Riddle, but this team that's probably going to lose because they can't get along is stacked.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know what I
Especially
mean?
for eliminations. It's hard to see them getting eliminated without some infighting. But even SmackDown's team has infighting. So,
What's SmackDown's team now?
give me 1 second.
Because I actually did not get to see SmackDown this week, so I'm a little behind on the brand.
I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I think the existing ones at first were Jey Uso and Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
Right, those are the two I knew about.
I think Seth Rollins was added to it.
I want to say you're right.
And I think Baron Corbin, if I'm not mistaken.
Of
go.
course, Baron Corbin.
Owens, Uso, Corbin, Rollins.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I got to tell you, it's nowhere near as stacked as the Raw brand.
No, they're going to need to, like, if they want to look stacked, they need a fifth member that's like some good shit, you know?
Who
And
would
looking
be
at
the
roster, I don't
best
think
person
anybody's
for that?
really left.
Tag me a date fan. Hey, well, hey to you. Thanks for being a
Thank you
fan.
for being a fan.
So yeah, I there's no fucking reason that that Raw should lose, and they're probably going to. So Shayna Baszler defeated Lana by submission. That's a fucking surprise. But Lana this week did not go through a table.
And that is the surprise.
Change it up a little bit.
Well, listen, you start to feel bad for Lana after a while. I'm just like,
Well, it
All
is
right,
a good
enough
way
of
to
it.
turn her face.
Right, I mean,
You legitimately feel bad for her.
that's true. How about Titus O'Neil getting some TV time?
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely got TV time.
He
I love
actually got
Titus
some good
O'Neil.
offense in on Lashley in that match.
I don't understand why the Hurt Business wouldn't bring him in, quite
Yeah.
honestly. You know, he's a big dude. I think it would be perfect.
Yeah.
I'd like to
But-
see it.
But
But you can't toy with it too long or else he looks like a complete idiot trying to go after a group that doesn't want him.
Well, Drew Gulak tried to get into her business.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? We made a mistake. Lana did go through a table.
Oh,
Not then, but later in the night she went.
yeah.
through, right? Because Nia
Yeah.
fought Asuka, and then
Yeah.
Lana got involved as usual, and so yeah. So now it's 8 tables.
And was it by Nia again?
Huh?
Was it by Nia again?
Yeah, of course.
So, speaking of Nia Jax, apparently Mandy Rose has been injured due to Nia Jax.
Well, there's a surprise. What's the injury?
What happened to Kairi Sane for a couple of times?
What's the injury?
Not sure. I didn't really look into it. I
Ryan's
just heard
already
the
on it.
word
Yeah.
injured.
Huh. It's amazing. Well, Of course, it would happen now, right before the pay-per-view. It's always
It's only
something.
listed as a May miss. Let's see.
I don't understand the booking with Mandy Rose either, because they do this big thing with her and Sonya. That's done, and the Otis thing's done too, and then only for them to put her in another fucking tag team with Dana Brooke of all people.
And she sucks. I cannot stand Dana Brooke.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have never liked her. I don't know. She talks too much. I can't stand her. She irks the shit out of me.
Yeah, she's horrible. She's never been good.
Oh yeah, no. I've never been a fan. I have
Even
never
NXT.
ever been a fan.
You know, like, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, a lot of people were better in NXT than the main roster. And while that is true, not everyone was gold in NXT. And Dana Brooke is one of them. She was not gold.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
She's still, you know, not great in the ring, and her mic skills are just awful.
Oh my god, ridiculous. It's
Currently,
just nothing
it's not
about
reported. Just an
The
injury.
last time she was even remotely somewhat relevant was when she was helping Charlotte.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
And even then, she was still a lackey, you know.
Charlotte was carrying her, so
So, anything else big on SmackDown happened that we should really talk about? Because again, I haven't seen SmackDown.
I'm trying to remember if there was more stuff with Roman Reigns and the
yeah,
Fed
there
thing.
was.
Well, of course.
They furthered that storyline with. Oh, what was it? God, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, he made Jay fight.
Yeah, Owens,
Kevin Owens.
because he was joking around about being Roman's lapdog.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I guess that's the infighting thing because they're teammates of Survivor Series.
Yep.
So that's SmackDown's infighting.
So I didn't really miss much.
Not really.
All right, so we're gonna move on from SmackDown, and most appropriately, we should probably talk a little bit about All Elite Wrestling's Full Gear. Everyone
Great
see it?
pay-per-view. Yeah.
I actually haven't been able to see it yet.
Match of the
I got-
night, FTR, Young Bucks. Absolutely phenomenal match
Definitely.
for the AEW tag titles, of course. But I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, those guys can work.
It was worth seeing FTR leave WWE just for that match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy for them. You know, that's one of the. Okay, so clearly AEW, what they do better than WWE. Well, there's a lot of things, but one is their tag team division.
Yeah. Well, it's a major focus.
They
So
care
it's-
about tag teams.
How about Cody Rhodes being able to use Rhodes again?
Yeah,
that is great. Not gonna lie, I love it.
How sad is it that we have to have a conversation of whether or not somebody can use their own name?
Well, it's technically not it's his name, but it isn't.
I mean, yes, it is. That's been his name, his
Yeah.
wrestling name, his wrestling persona for, you know, he carried over from fucking Dusty.
I know.
know what I
It was
mean?
more of just joking that it is, but it might as well be.
I get it, but oh man.
So
Oh, man.
what was it that made WWE kind of like drop that?
That's a good question.
I heard
actually.
they
Not worth it?
traded some old WCW fighting rights. Cody was trying to trademark a few terms. I think it was like the match beyond something for Great American Bash and something else. So it's kind of a trade than a give up.
Another good thing about Cody is he made Darby Allin.
Yeah. I honestly was expecting to see Cody turn heel. Not gonna lie.
It's happening. It's going to happen because I still think he's going to be a part of the New Horsemen.
Yeah, they're teasing it. Like they had like some misunderstandings with Arn, so they're definitely teasing it.
How about
I like
MJF versus Chris Jericho?
Interesting to see
That
MJF
dude-
join the Inner Circle.
Yeah,
Right?
And that dude is going to be a star in wrestling for years to come.
Do you know that Chris Jericho has not won a pay-per-view match for all of 2020?
Holy shit!
Yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Not
I didn't
one.
think of that.
Isn't that amazing?
And still is over like Rover.
It's incredible to me. But that was another great match.
Yeah, that's
mean,
some good storytelling.
And you were right. MJF he's the real deal. That
I
kid
love
is-
his theme.
You know what? That's the one thing I'm not crazy about. Personally.
It's not
I-
the best, but the starting beat is. I love it.
Doesn't really do anything for me.
This you're gonna laugh. No, I don't know about his middle name, but my great grandfather's name was Maxwell Friedman.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if I don't know his middle name. I don't know if it was a J. It would be amazing if it was.
It's your great grandfather reincarnated.
You should find that out and get back to us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like part of me identifies with him more because he has my same last name.
You live vicariously through him.
or whatever,
How about Serena Deeb versus Allison Kay for the?
I wanted to ask about that. How was that match?
It was okay. I mean,
Yeah.
Serena Deeb, you forget how good she is in the ring
Yeah.
and how much better looking she is with hair. Yeah.
I think you could say that about every woman wrestler.
But I mean, and Allison Kay is no slouch. She's been killing it in the NWA the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
sure.
she was pretty good in Impact when she was there. What was she? Sienna,
Yeah, I believe so.
and then Thunder Rosa came out, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. Hold on.
Yeah, she did. Which
To
I
confront
was.
the winner. And I'm all about Thunder Rosa. She's awesome.
I am too. I was surprised by that actually because I knew I had heard that WWE had been reaching out. So I'm surprised that she went the route she did.
I think a lot of it has to do with the WWE's schedule. It was a little too much for her, I think.
Well, yeah, it's
That's an understatement.
definitely a hell of a schedule.
But
So
anywhere she goes, she's gonna be pretty good. And like all three of these women are great gets for AEW, especially if they're full time there.
oh yeah.
Because that's something that they need to work on in their women's division, and now they're starting to catch up, and it's getting pretty good.
I love AEW. I really do. Kenny Omega, Adam Page, the final of the tournament.
Either
There
one
were-
of them should have won.
There were
Great
some
match coming up.
there were some great spots in that match.
Absolutely, and now so it's building towards Omega versus Moxley for the title. Then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came out at
Well,
the end of the night.
That's gonna be a fucking
and-
match. Holy shit!
And that match with Kingston, that
Great.
was crazy. there were some parts of that match that were definitely what I would call holy shit moments. When Mox had his arm wrapped in barbed wire, and he basically put on a front
face lock. Oh.
Yeah, well, like the Benoit, the fucking crippler
crossface. Thank you.
Wow, brain fart. So yeah,
Yes.
he throws the crossface with the barbed wire. I mean, there were some fucking moments, man. The thumbtacks are always fun to watch. That was a great match. I remember there was one moment where Mox got the finger from Kingston, but it was just like the timing, like everything was just spot on. It was great. So that was another one. Very well done. I mean, to me, the pay-per-view really didn't miss.
It was great. What, 3-4 hours?
Yeah, just about.
Did they do any of those battle royals, or was there anything else on that show?
I'm looking at the card.
No, that was
Didn't Nyla Rose face Shida again?
Yeah.
yes.
And then
In a
Vicky
losing
Guerrero gave Nyla a slap or something?
Yeah.
And Orange Cassidy fought John Silver.
We had the Elite Deletion match.
Oh yeah, shit! How could I forget?
With Gangrel and Hurricane and
Everything you expect from that.
they're always great.
Matt is a genius. I swear to God.
Well, Vince was right.
And it's so nice for him to finally, like to get credit for his mind.
Yeah. It's a shame it took a WWE run to get back to him using his mind.
That's just baffling to me how they fucked that up. Like,
One person and only one person is in charge of that.
Yeah. I mean, there were moments it was promising. Like, I loved the whole him and Bray Wyatt thing for a bit.
Yeah.
Not so much the matches, but when they were together, it was great. But
In the introduction with Matt Hardy winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royale due to Bray.
And look at all the cinematic things that happened after Matt Hardy left, like the graveyard, the grave, whatever.
Boneyard graveyard match. It's a shame.
And then you were talking earlier about Cody making Darby. Well, he went down and gave Darby the win. And you talk about another great match. Those two know each other so well by this point, but another great match. And now you get to see Darby Allin, with a title.
And it's great because, to have some of these young guys that are finally getting some exposure on a major brand that's not WWE, and especially because of the fact that often WWE fucks up new prospects, every once in a while. So, it's good for people like that, for MJF, for guys that, even guys that are, who haven't really been in the mainstream that much, like Eddie Kingston. It's great exposure.
And Kingston's a beast.
He really is. He's been kind of flying under the radar for a long time. He's like a journeyman.
Yeah.
At this point in the business.
And I wonder why. Like, I don't get it.
Like, recently, like as of like a year ago or less, maybe the beginning of the year, when NWA was still doing their thing, he was teaming up with, I think, Homicide for a bit as a team, and that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Wish I got to watch NWA. Never could make the time for it, but you always said it was good.
Whatever happened to Hernandez? Supermex. He was another one. Like, he was decent enough, and he had the look. You know what I mean? He was agile. Whatever happened to him?
I'm
Anyone know?
looking it up right now.
I feel like I saw him in one of the AEW Battle Royals in the last year or so, but that was about it. I don't know if he's back in Impact, or I haven't seen him really much.
Impact 2020.
He's back in Impact Wrestling?
I'm going down to, that's what it currently says. Yeah, re-signed April 28th, and that's the last.
But I've been getting a little more into Impact again, and I haven't seen him in really that much.
I'm just saying that's the last quick Wikipedia update on him.
Right. Wrestling itself, despite the shit that is 2020, regardless of that, the wrestling industry is climbing. You got AEW going strong. Obviously, WWE's not going anywhere. Impact's kind of making a somewhat of a comeback.
It's surviving. That's better than what everybody said.
MLW is getting some some more stuff, and there's always New Japan and all that stuff. So
it's great to see the industry thriving. So how many live sports do we have going on right now? It helped that they were the only game in the going.
That is true. Right, right, guys. That's one thing you could say about wrestling. Wrestling didn't stop. All other sports stopped. Wrestling didn't.
That's very true. It's very true, and it's nice that there's so many options out there now for people to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Everyone's always going to watch WWE. It is what it is. No matter how much people shit on it or whatever, people are going to watch because it's WWE. It's the Mecca. It's when you're a kid and you want to become a wrestling fan, your goal is to be WWE. But it is nice that there is another avenue. But I don't care who you are, even if you're somebody in a developmental somewhere. Even if you start in AEW, your goal is going to be to one day make it to WWE.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for WWE, there would be no wrestling the way it is today.
Yeah, it's just reality. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And I'm glad that they were able to find a way to make it entertaining, with the screens and the pyro and everything else, and bringing everything that, everything back. It made a big difference. So, they're all evolving. They're all doing their thing. And it's nice to have options again.
It is nice hearing the crowd back. Silent matches it's lacking.
Even if a lot of it is, filtered in, it still makes a difference.
But still, seeing the faces at least makes it better than it just being like ghosts.
Yeah, no, the screens are great. The whole concept is great, But I hope one day we all get to go back and see it live.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
There's no experience, out there than seeing it live, and I would love to see AEW live.
It was great.
Yeah, that's what I always.
I got to see Dynamite before everything.
That's cool.
Here's something though, with the way things are going right now as far as wrestling TV. One of the biggest things about the Royal Rumble, which is coming up in a few months. I mean, I'm not meaning to look over Survivor Series, but the Rumble is important, obviously, and we don't know how things are going to be. And one thing about the Rumble is that Rumble pop, like last year when Edge came back. I mean, if we're not going to get that, I mean, like the Rumble's going to, not be as good.
I think you could have fun with the screens with the countdown, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Like kill the faces and actually have the countdown.
Rumor has it that Vince McMahon is trying to do something where some fans get into the arena for Rumble.
Who knows? Everything can change in a month.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I don't
But
know.
it's just a very important aspect of the Royal Rumble. You know.
Yeah. Not getting political, but we have the current-elect would have no issue shutting down, so we might have absolutely no one for another couple months.
Listen, at the end of the day, we need to get rid of this fucking virus. So whatever it's going to take, we need to get rid of it, because once the virus is gone, we get back to some sort of normal, and we can go see wrestling events live and everything else. You know what I mean? It sucks. It is what it is, but we got to get rid of this fucking thing, because as much as I like watching the fans on these fucking screens,
I agree.
I want to see them with beers in their hands going fucking crazy in a live crowd. You know, and we can't do it. We can't do it until it's gone. So, you know.
However, I'll counter. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Well, you know what? I tend to agree with you. But
I think it's going to turn into the flu.
The flu, yeah. But hopefully we get a vaccine that'll work. And, you know.
There was good news on that end. I didn't really read into it, but I heard.
Pfizer, I think, is getting pretty close.
That's what I heard.
And but I'm hearing like things about it, like it has to be at a certain like below temperature, and I don't know. I'm kind of like,
because you can't haphazardly put out, put something out like that. It's got to be tested.
It's progress, at least.
No, it's definitely progress. I mean, we listen. I hope they come up with a vaccine that works. You know, just like the flu shot, you get the corona shot. You know,
I'm not saying rush it, but at least we're making headway.
Me and my kids are not going to be guinea pigs. I'll tell you that. So I'm going to let other people, you know. But yeah,
I had it, so I'm clear for a couple months.
I wonder, are guinea pigs even guinea pigs anymore?
That's funny.
So, what else is going on in the wrestling world that we could discuss?
30 years of The Undertaker.
Yes. Oh my God.
I was going to say that, or AEW's video game announcement was just 15 minutes ago.
Oh, well, what was the fucking announcement then? Because I went on there and they were like an hour late.
It was, they started at 6:45. They announced a mainline game and 2 mobile games.
I don't care about the mobile. When's the mainstream game coming out?
They didn't have a timeline.
Great.
I'm excited that they're going to be working with Ukes.
Yeah. That was confirmed.
That's great, because Ukes was a big part of the success of some of the older WWE games.
Well, listen, if anyone knows, Kenny Omega is known for being a big-time gamer. He loves games. So he apparently has a lot of influence in what's going to happen with this video game.
Yeah, he was doing the announcement.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I have very high hopes. You know, there's rumors that they're trying to have it operate close to how No Mercy did. It's
confirmed for current gen and next gen.
Okay, well, that's good.
Dude, I want to see a fucking power bomb on the poker chips.
That's right. I forgot about that. So, 30 years, man. 30 years.
And we've all been fortunate enough to have seen The Undertaker's entrance live several times in our lives, and there's nothing like it.
I still remember his debut at the Survivor Series. And all I can hear is Rowdy Piper, oh, look at the size of that ham hog, you know, and he just, you know, holy shit. He was
He scared the shit out of us.
Oh, yeah. He was scary as hell back then.
Did you see the fans like on the sides as he was making his entrance? Jesus.
There were little kids crying. That's when you know you got something great.
Yeah.
You know?
Even though, like, at that time, though, who could have thought that, you know, the way predicted the way that Undertaker's career would go?
No one. Who could have thought someone could last 3 decades?
That's insane.
Well, you have to remember, this was something like we had never seen before. He was one of the first big guys I can remember watching fly over the top rope, and just the way he moved, because everything was, just very quick and stiff, and like he'd be very methodical and very slow, but then he'd out of nowhere he'd come in like
Yeah, like that
running
clothesline or something.
right, and then you knocked him down and he'd sit right up and he'd roll the eyes, and
And that first tombstone, that one on Coco Beware, holy shit, that was a brutal tombstone.
and then he started packing them in
Body bags.
body bags,
Yep.
and he would carry them to the back. I mean, this is like, as a kid, this was awesome. And then you have the Undertaker going after Hulk Hogan, and for every kid, Hulk was everything. So now you're really into it. I mean, there were just so many. Undertaker worked with everybody,
And like the best thing about the Undertaker is that he evolved. Like there was that time where they put him against monster after monster, but it wasn't until the injury at the hands of Mabel that they finally decided to put him in with guys like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and the like, and then Taker's matches improved immensely.
I mean, this man, for the size, had a signature move where he would arm drag you towards the turnbuckle and walk the tightrope to the middle and then clothesline the back of your head. The fact that a guy that size could do it and do it so well every fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and whether he was a heel or he was a face, it was always awesome when he did the Ministry of Darkness and the corporate ministry and, hanging Stephanie McMahon on a cross that's on fire. And I mean, there's just
trying to embalm Stone Cold Steve Austin.
right. Graveyard matches and buried alive.
The contract with Austin's blood.
Fucking Inferno matches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you got the Brothers of Destruction and that whole story of
his
King
feud with
and the brother
before the corporate ministry holding the burnt teddy bear in front of Vince.
Yeah. But think about the first time you remember seeing Kane and he comes out and then they start that whole brother rivalry and then out of nowhere
the Hell in a Cell cage.
Right. And then out of nowhere it clicks and they become the Brothers of Destruction, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So many great
Still love that line from JR. By God, it's Kane.
Yeah. That's
and
right.
Then there's a lot of we got to give credit to Paul Bearer for a lot of it too.
Oh, definitely.
There is nobody that could have played the character of Paul Bearer better than Paul Bearer. Nobody.
Same goes with the Undertaker himself.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But good old Percy Pringle.
Yeah.
I mean, and the funny thing I always thought was great is that he really did work at a funeral home.
Yeah, he was a mortician.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But with that shrieky voice and even his size, being fat worked for him because that's what you would picture Paul Bearer to be. A short, fat, stocky guy, you know what I mean? And the facial expressions.
Yeah.
I mean, when he's standing outside of the ring holding the urn and he's hugging it like it's a baby and he would quickly turn his head and his eye. I mean, just
And Steve, even people like our dads, now like you say, your dad is not really big on wrestling, but one guy he loved was The Undertaker.
Yeah. He really didn't give a shit about wrestling, but he loved The Undertaker, he loved Hulk Hogan, and he loved Jake the Snake Roberts.
And even people that that are older than me, like my father, everybody, even if they don't watch wrestling, they can do a Paul Bearer imitation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh. It's a shame he's gone before Undertaker retired. That'd been a great double retirement.
Yeah, That was another sad day. That was another one. But he was so good. He was so good. I remember when Undertaker was gone for a while. This is right after he was the American Badass. And he was gone for a while.
Yeah.
And he must have made his return in Hartford. I think it was Hartford. Or maybe it was Garden. It was
Didn't
one.
Taker come back in Mania 20 to face Kane?
Yeah, that I thought that was the
And Paul
return
Bearer?
from.
Well, but that was when like the lights went out. Like nobody knew he was going to come back as the Dead Man. Everyone was hoping, and then the
Right.
lights went out, and all you heard was, "Oh yes, Paul Bearer's shriek," and then Undertaker's music hit, and he came back as the Dead Man. I
Yeah,
just
that
can't
was
remember. Was that the
Mania.
Garden?
That was the Garden, yeah.
Yeah, that was Mania
Yeah, it was Garden.
That and
with the
that,
Druids and
Yeah,
and also, who could forget that day when Paul Bearer turned on the Undertaker for the first time to side with Mankind? I mean, no one saw that coming.
no, definitely not. Well, because Paul Bearer was always like a father, so it's almost like you
Yeah.
know you're turning on your fucking kid. You know what I mean? But man, it made for great story. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what Undertaker had the longevity he had because Eric, like you said, he changed with the times. He constantly changed up his gimmick, and then knew when it was time to go back to the other gimmicks. And he always added something. He always evolved. Jericho's another one. These guys,
Jericho
they
is definitely up there in that kind of thing. Yeah.
well, right, and they last because they're able to evolve, and that's the trick. That's the key. These young guys, they have to be able to evolve. Otherwise, eventually their time is going to get cut short, and you're not going to have a 30-year career,
Yeah.
like The Undertaker, and get a send-off or get a pay-per-view that's really dedicated to your career.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I'll even go as far as to say Matt Hardy is in that where he keeps changing things up
Oh, without question.
and extends his career,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And also the impact that the Undertaker's had on other people, like Mick Foley, for instance.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
amazing matches he had with Shawn Michaels at those 2 back-to-back WrestleManias.
Gave Kane his entire career.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's worked with Bray in
And
countless
I'm sure
others.
he's been a father figure for many and a locker room leader for many, many years.
You know what? It's funny you guys talk about Kane because it's so true. Like, if you think about it, he was Dr. Isaac Yankem, DDS. You know what I mean? Like, his career was going to be very short-lived, similar to like a Bastion Booger. You know what I mean? Like, just a stupid fucking gimmick, and then luckily they came up with the idea of him being the brother and put the mask on and, become Kane. I mean, if it wasn't for the Undertaker and that character for Kane wouldn't be what we know him to be today.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all give credit where credit is due. Glenn Jacobs is phenomenal. However, had it not been for that opportunity for him, to make that work, yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have gone the way it did.
Yeah, at the very least, he wouldn't have had as big of a career.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would have managed something, but it wouldn't be Kane.
I mean,
he wouldn't have had the longevity that he's had.
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be as big a character.
so I mean, it worked out for him, and I'm happy for him because he's a great talent.
And
it made
he's a mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee.
but it just the two of them together.
Oh, yeah. Anytime they were together was a force of nature.
Yeah, 100%.
It was fun seeing the Kane and Undertaker just evolve in go feud, come back together, team, and just the way the characters changed while interacting with each other.
You know, even Kane's another one. He evolved through the times.
Yeah.
You know, Kane with the mask, Kane with a slimmer mask, Kane without the mask, back to Kane with the mask. You know, he always evolved. And then his comedic side, doing his whole thing with Daniel Bryant and going to the shrink. What was the guy's name?
Oh, jeez.
What, Shelby? Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Shelby.
I mean,
Another thing I liked about Kane was his partnership with X-Pac.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
yeah.
X-Pac and Tori.
Shit, back then, I was thinking, man, Kane is like somewhat associated with DX. I was thinking like Kane was going to come out with green and black.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were teasing the green and black for Kane.
He did say "suck it" with the voice thing.
The smoker's voice box.
Suck it.
That was stupid. That whole side of Kane, I thought was pretty stupid. But listen, they're not all going to be home runs. You know, at the end of the day, he kept trying different things, and I would say 99% of them hit. You know what I mean? But looks like we have reached the top of the hour quickly as usual. But it was a decent week in wrestling. We have the Survivor Series coming up, so it's exciting.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's looking like we're going to have some good matches. But this has been the War Report podcast every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Make sure you watch us on Facebook Live, Periscope, and then we're uploaded where?
SoundCloud, Google Play podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
And SoundCloud. So check us out. You can listen to it. You can watch it. We appreciate it. Tune in every Tuesday, 7 p.m. live. Or listen to us whenever you want. Listen in the car. You know?
Listen at work. Listen while you're doing chores.
Great
way to spend an hour.
And whoever's a wrestling fan, tell your friends. But this has been the War Report. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week, live, 7 p.m.